Hey, what's up? John Sonnemes here from SimpleProgrammer.com. So I got this question or this request, a comment on one of my YouTube videos that said how to, please make a video on how to forget, I think it's forget or repress past memories. I thought this was kind of interesting. Please make a video on how to forget past memories. I request you, sir, make it please. Well, how could I refuse a request like that? So, I was thinking about this, and there's actually, I'm going to show you a technique here. I'm going to kind of give you some ideas, a technique for getting rid of past memories. Not necessarily getting rid of past memories, but rather for dealing with bad memories, for not necessarily how to forget them, because I don't think you want to forget past memories. I think instead you want to figure out the best way to handle and deal with these past memories. So first of all, a little bit about our memories, how our memories work, how our mind works to store things that have happened to us in the future. What happens is that your memory is not 100% accurate, right? I think there's been a lot of scientific studies that have shown this, that it's a lot of the reasons why one testimonial alone is not enough to convict someone of a crime like murder, and why we use a lot of techniques to try and figure out what is the truth, why we have corroborating witnesses and reports, and that whole, if we went into what is the field of criminal justice, right? There'd be a lot of study on this. I'm not going to go into that. I'm not a criminal justice major or anything like that, but I am going to talk about memory. And so the thing is, like, with memory, we tend to store memory, and how we store it is kind of interesting as well. There's a real good book on general memory the kind of recalling things, specifically called Moonwalking with Einstein. I did a book review on this, but that's not what I'm going to talk about today. One of the things that you'll find with storing memory is that we tend to store memory based on emotion, right? So I think one of the things that a lot of people talk about is they say, hey, do you remember where you were on July 3rd, 1997? And people say, I don't know, right? But then you say, hey, do you remember where you were on September 11th, right? When that happened, and most people do. So when there's a huge emotional event, we tend to store that memory a little bit more strong, or it's a stronger story, especially when it's traumatic, especially when it's bad, right? We tend to remember bad things. We tend to not remember good things so much. That just kind of sucks. It makes sense from an evolutionary perspective, right? Because the bad shit is what's going to kill you. I mean, remembering the good shit is good, but more so the bad shit is important to remember, right? So. But here's the thing. So let's combine a few things here. So first of all, our memories are not perfect. They're not accurate. A lot of times, in fact, our memories are not the original memories, but they're what we've recalled and restored back in there. So almost like you had your original memory, and then you told yourself a story about that memory, and then you restored that. If you think about a lot of your childhood memories, it's probably not, it's like a secondary recall, right? If you think about it, it's not that you can actually envision yourself being there, but you remember, the facts, the details of what happened, and so you've repeated to yourself, like you've recalled that so many times that it's not actually a memory, but it's a memory of a memory, if you think about it that way, right? But what does this mean? What this means is that we have the ability to control how we recall and how we replay memories. So the exercise that I want to give you, if you've got bad memories that are destructive to you, right? And a lot of times our self-image, what we think of ourselves, can be formed by our memories. So there's a book called Psycho-Cybernetics. I've done a review. I don't know if I've done a review, but I've talked about this book quite a bit. And essentially the premise of this book is the fact that your self-image determines your behavior, and the only way to alter your behavior is to alter your self-image, okay? And so one of the ways that our self-image is formed is by our memories, and more specifically, not the actual events, but how we choose to interpret and view those events, right? So you've got two things going on here in a memory, right? You've got the actual events that occurred, and you've got your interpretation of the events, right? And this is a deeper concept than just memory. I'm just going to apply to the memory context here, but if you think about it, in life, things happen, and then there's what the story we tell ourselves about why or why the things happened and what they mean, and those things are very different, right? The facts are the facts, okay? Then what we tell ourselves about those facts is sort of our opinion of them, and it's not reality. It's only the story that we've decided to tell ourselves. So a lot of times we have like memories that we have negative connotations are on because we have told ourselves a story that has made it negative. And there's some things that you would try to say objectively, oh, this is just a negative event. I mean, when my dog died, that was negative. There's no positive in that. Like, John, what are you talking about, you fucking asshole? My dog died. I get what you're saying, but again, there's just the facts, and then there's the emotional story that you've attached to it. And I understand that your dog was very important to you, but that doesn't mean that it's outright bad, right? There's no such thing as good or bad, but thinking makes it so, as Shakespeare once said. So here's what you can do. If you've got bad memories that are causing you to have problems, that are hurting your self-image or hurting your ego in some way, and causing you to act in a way that you don't want to act, or they're just bad in general, what you can do is this little exercise where basically what I want you to do is I want you to go back, and this is NLP, by the way, but I want you to go back and I want you to reimagine that memory, to go back to that memory. And there's a few things that you can do here. I'm just going to give you a simple technique, but it can get more complicated. But this is the basic idea. I want you to understand this basic idea, then you can apply this. I want you to go back to the memory, let's say the troubling memory of your dog dying, and instead of taking the viewpoint that you saw from inside your body, I want you to take a different viewpoint. Maybe maybe you play it back in several different viewpoints. View it from a different angle. So, for example, maybe you play it back from the dog's viewpoint, or maybe you play it back from God's viewpoint, or the universe's viewpoint if you don't believe in God, right? Or you play it back from the viewpoint of sitting above it, watching it all happen, okay, and thinking about how it all played into what ended up happening in life, right? There's a lot of ways that you can perform this exercise, but essentially what I want you to do is I want you to look at it objectively, and actually to try and look at it from a positive viewpoint, but not from within yourself, because you already experienced it firsthand, and you attach a lot of emotions, a lot of meanings to that memory. But if you now replay that memory, okay, and now you're going to associate some positive attributes to that memory. You can even do some things, some NLP things, like changing the color of the memory and making it black and white, and playing it in slow motion, or playing it backwards, or making it louder, or making it quieter, or different aspects of it. But I find what's most useful is to go back and to re-envision that entire memory, and to think about it in a totally different way as you're playing it back, to think of it in a positive way. And it might be helpful to be in a positive mindset first, right? Maybe watch my trailer video to get yourself psyched up and feeling good, right? I do that sometimes. No, I'm just kidding. But and then to go and re-experience that memory. But this time, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be re-experiencing it from a very objective viewpoint, and you're going to attach positive reactions in a positive story to it. Because remember, there's the events and there's how you interpret the events. So you can reinterpret those events, especially now based on your new life experiences and your new life perspective. If you've been watching this channel for a while, if you've been watching my videos, if you've changed your life in some way, I know a lot of you have, and you have different viewpoints, but you have these memories that are plaguing you still from the old person you used to be. Well, we want to go back, we want to rehash all those memories, rewatch all those memories, but from the new vantage point that you have now, the new psychology that you've embedded in your brain, which is going to release you from those bondages that are holding you, because those memories are reminding you of who you used to be, the pathetic version you used to be of yourself, when you thought these things, when you let these things happen to you, whatever it is, when you had that victim mindset. But if you reinterpret them and replay them through this new lens, you can essentially restore them, right? So that those memories now, even though they record the same set of events, you're not lying about the events, you're just changing the story that was associated with them. Because as humans, when we remember things, going back to what I said at the beginning, we remember essentially emotions. Like, what we remember is not just the facts. We remember the facts plus our interpretation of them, and that's what creates the memories, especially the strong memories. The stronger the emotion, the stronger the memory, as I said with the 9/11 type of thing here. So that's the basic idea of this. Again, I could go into more detail. Maybe I'll do a course and we can go into more exercises. I've done this extensively with a lot of my own memories in order to turn things that would have been negative, that would have been destructive to my ego, that would have been destructive to my self-development, and I've turned them into positives by viewing them from another angle, viewing them in different ways, desensitizing myself to these especially traumatic memories that I may have, and being able to see them either neutrally or positively, and then restoring those memories so that when I recall on those memories, now I have a different experience, a positive experience, an experience that is not traumatic, that doesn't harm me in some way. So don't forget memories. Instead, review them, change the story about them, and restore them, and then you can utilize those memories and they'll actually be beneficial to you instead of harmful. All right, if you like this video, I have a request for you. Click the subscribe button if you haven't already. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.